Jules, we're not done. We got more
Yes.
quick hits. A late goal from Francisco Conceição gives Portugal the win over the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as they like to be called now. Jules, as I see it, this is all about two guys. Roberto Martinez, or Roberto Martinez, as Augie calls him, and Cristiano Ronaldo.
I think you're right, Gabby. I mean, let's start with the win for Portugal. They didn't play great at all in that game. They conceded a goal that was far too easy to score from an opposition point of view, but at least they showed character to come back late, even on mistakes, two big mistakes by the Czechia defense. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you're right, it's a lot about Roberto Martinez, first of all, because his tactics make no sense whatsoever, certainly at the start. The Cancelo positioning, somewhere in midfield, somewhere not. Nuno Mendes as a centre-back. To have Bruno playing quite deeper, no Palhinha, so really they didn't have any defensive-minded play, because Vitinha can play as a holding, but he's not as defensively minded as a Palhinha, for example. Rafael Leao on that left-hand side, crossing the ball for nobody. So there was a lot of things that didn't work. And even when Martinez made some changes, going to a back three, there was still a lot of things that didn't look right. Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. So there's a lot of things we can do. We could do a whole show probably on that. However, I thought Cristiano was good. I don't think he was dominant like some people said. I don't think he was bad like some people said either. He had this genius back heel, for example, for Vitinha in the first half. That was a great moment. But then I think he was the victim of the bad choices tactically, especially from Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, it did feel really, really weird seeing that. I'm all for guys who want to do things differently. I just don't know that the opening game of the tournament is the time to do that, because it looked like they'd never tried this before.
I agree with you completely. And speaking of Cristiano, Gab, there were concerns, and rightly so, about the fitness physically of the players who are in this tournament and who play in Saudi Arabia. Cristiano, Kante, Mitrovic, Milinkovic-Savic, etc., etc. But both Cristiano and N'Golo Kante looked like they were pretty sharp.
Yeah, and I don't know why this should have been an issue, because, look, these are older players. The season in Saudi feels like ended like months ago. I know it wasn't really months ago. And also, I don't know. What does N'Golo Kante do in Saudi Arabia other than train and look after himself and, I presume, pray occasionally? No, I'm not surprised these guys come back and are in top physical fitness at all. My boy Ciccio Calzona and Slovakia down Belgium in what is probably the upset of the group stage. Jules, you're going to blame the other Italian coach in this game?
Well, to start with, I'm going to blame the Belgian players themselves, because I think this is their own downfall, this defeat. Jeremy Doku, who takes far too many risks so early in the game and gifts Slovakia a massive chance to what they end up scoring from. From Lukaku to Trossard to Doku again to Bakayoko to De Bruyne, they had enough chances, they had enough of the ball, they had enough good positions to come back in that game and not lose it, and they did. So yeah, Tedesco could have done a few things differently. Some of the substitutions or lack of, I was a bit surprised. But overall, Belgium on another day should win this game. And in the end, they end up losing. It's their third defeat in a row, if you count the end of the World Cup and these Euros. That never happened in big tournaments before for this national team. So a lot of things to sort out. The good thing for them, I guess, is this is still a weak group. So even starting with a defeat, they can still beat Ukraine, they can still beat Romania and still qualify, of course. So it's not all gloom and doom. But that was not a good start, obviously, to lose a game like this. Staying in that group,
need my Yuri Tielemans in games like these.
I know. I agree with you. Staying in that group, Gab, Romania destroying Ukraine 3-0 was also a bit of an upset.
No question about it. I mean, look, Romania, obviously, you've got the cult heroes like Stanchu, Dennis Mann, who I'm assuming you're a huge fan of, because we've been hearing about him since he was 16 years old. And his career just never really went anywhere. But it could happen. He's not old yet.
No, yeah.
This was really emphatic, Jules. And like Ukraine are just so many big names. Maybe not the super powerhouse that the names would have us think they are, but man, I expect your veteran players to step up. The guys who've been there, who've done it. You know, Yarmolenko, Zinchenko, so many guys. Mudryk, All right, Mudryk less so because whatever. But Sudakov, had a good shot. Other than that, very intermittent. I think there's an issue here where Sergei Rebrov, I don't know if he's the problem, but he's not part of the solution.
Yeah.
And, players coming out and saying, oh, we let Rebrov down. Part of that is you being a coach and kicking their backsides and making sure they do not let you down, because this was big. They had all that home support.
I agree.
Scotland bounced back from their opening day humiliation against Germany to hold Switzerland to a 1-1 draw. And Jules, they also hit the post late on with a magical Jan Sommer save too.
Yeah, I mean, this is Scotland back to what they're good at, really. That intensity, the physicality. Okay, with the ball, not so good, and they score a goal and they got a little bit lucky. The Scott McTominay shot was deflected by Fabian Schär when Jan Sommer would have had the ball and would have caught the ball. So they got a bit lucky on that. But then they fought hard. They lost Kieran Tierney to an injury. Poor guy was in tears. This is a massive blow going into the third game that they have to win against Hungary to hope to qualify. But apart from that, the rest was far more what we usually see from them under Steve Clarke than obviously what we saw against Germany. So well done to them for the reaction that they showed. Well done to them to still be alive. And really, that they were they wanted to be at the start of the tournament. After the draw, they knew that if they could be in a position to qualify after the first two games against the two toughest team in the group, then facing Hungary, which is a bit more of their level, then they will be in for a shot to qualify, and they are. So well done to them to show that reaction and the character. And now, historically, that would be historic. They've never qualified ever for a knockout round of a big tournament. Never at the World Cup, never at the Euros before. If they were to do it this time, it would be historical, of course. It would be something very special.
Massive.
Manchester City were hoping to sign Savio from Girona. And Manchester United were looking to try to sign Jean-Claire Todibo from Nice. However, Gab, both those deals look like now they are in jeopardy after UEFA saying that they could block them.
Yeah, look, it's strictly speaking, it's not, UEFA don't have the authority to block transfers. International transfers are a FIFA matter. And obviously, Savio, I think technically he's on loan at Girona from Troyes.
Yep.
But I think what's happened is UEFA have said, and they've been very open about multi-club ownership and kind of allowing it, but they've said, look, this year we've got these transition rules in place. We're going to scrutinize related party deals very, very closely if the two teams are the same competition. And in the meantime, we're going to work on longer term legislation. And I think essentially City United, they don't want to take a chance on this. Yeah. And that's why these deals are sliding by. Ian Maatsen is reportedly on his way to Aston Villa from Chelsea after the clubs agreed a deal of between 35 million and 40 million. Jules, are you surprised he didn't stay in Dortmund?
Well, a little bit maybe, but maybe not so much either. Villa also in the Champions League. I suspect his wages will be higher there than at Dortmund. Maybe just a little question mark I've got is that Villa could get Samuel Ling Jr. from Juventus in the Douglas Luiz McKennie swap deal. Plus, they've got Luka Ding already, and they've got Moreno as well at left back. That's a lot of players in that kind of position. But hey, I'm not the sporting director there. The Times report that Manchester United have agreed personal terms with Everton's Jared Branthwaite, but that £45 million bid has been rejected. Gab, how much higher do they have to go to get him?
I think they'll have to go substantially higher. I also think he's going to run because, of course, Everton could have new owners very soon, the Friedkins. Mats Hummels wasn't called up to the Euros, of course, but he's still training, Jules, and he's sharing his training sessions on Instagram. And he chose to train in a Greece shirt. Any significant? Is it where he's going on holiday?
Well, imagine when I saw that, I thought, okay, Panathinaikos is going, or Olympiacos is going, or maybe he's there on holidays, you're right. He just said that it's difficult to find a football shirt that doesn't attract like rumors and stuff. Like, I guess, I don't know if he'd worn an old like Bayern Munich shirt, for example. People thought, oh, okay, maybe he's going back there, not that they need him. Or maybe a PSG shirt because he loves the PSG shirts. So I thought he picked Greece. But remember when David De Gea, who's still training on his own, by the way, for a year now, was training with in a basketball NBA shirt. We were like, well, what's the point of that? At least I prefer Hummels. At least he's training in a normal football jersey.
I don't know. If you're in the gym, do you need to train in a football jersey?
No, that's true. That's true.
That's up to you. Yeah, we like Mats Hummels anyway.
Gab, you were at the Germany Hungary game yesterday. We said that before, and you have some strong thoughts of what happened when the home fans trying to start the Mexican wave in the stadium.
Yeah, look, I don't want to come across as sort of grumpy, no fun pundit here, okay? And I have max respect. If you pay your ticket, if you want to sit there, you want to do the wave, that's absolutely fine. But what happened, although it's not to my taste in any way, shape, or form, let me make that clear. But what happened here was at 2-0, there's like 10 minutes to go, and the Germany fans start doing the wave, and it goes around the ground, and about maybe a quarter of the ground was just made up of Hungary fans. And as soon as the wave gets to them, they don't do anything. They do not
they're
participate
losing. They may be
in
not
the
in the
wave.
mood.
Absolutely. But then the Germany fans boo them for not wanting to do the wave. It happens once, twice, 3 times. And I'm like, guys, read the room, right? You do the wave when it's a joyous collective thing. They're losing. They're potentially on their way out of the Euros. And you're going to make them bad enough to do the wave, but then you're going to make them feel bad because they won't decide to participate in your nonsense.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, I would have loved it. The shoe was on the other foot. They were 2-0 down. And then the Hungarians had started the wave. Let's see how many Germans would have joined in.
Yeah, that's so true. Because when I was at the Spain-Croatia game, there was obviously far many more Croatian, like 40,000, 50,000 for only 10,000 Spaniards. And the Spain were 3-0 up, so the Spaniards started doing the wave on their corner, and then obviously they were doing it, loving it, and then when you arrived to the Croatian, they were like, come on, as if we were going to do that when your team is battering us 3-0. So I can see exactly how the Hungarians fan felt.
Yeah, right. They also, come on, Spanish fans, you should know better.
Exactly.
No way for you. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Jules, that brings us to an end. Thanks again to Scaling Spaces for the co-working space that are hosting us on the banks of the Spree. I will be back there in Berlin very soon. Never you mind. Until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.